Welcome back to This is Better. I'm Stephanie. We're carrying on with part 2 of our episode, How Do We Talk to Our Children About Faith? And I have my guest and friend, Alex Osejo. Alex, I pronounced that right. Is that right?
You did pretty well.
Oh, I was close?
Close enough. Close to 100%.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Thanks for the grace, Alex. Thanks for giving me grace. Before we go on to the next session in the course, I just kind of want to recap where we came from. You developed this apologetics course for parents and children. You developed it, for your own household and your children, but also to use in our church. And I have to thank you for that. I'll thank you on behalf of all of the parents. So Alex told us, how he came to develop this. But I just wanted to remind people that this is something that we can do at home. It doesn't have to be in your church. You can do it with your friends that also have young children. To sit down and kind of prepare yourself for the questions that are coming. Because, as we nurture our children in the faith, they're going to have faith questions. And as we've gone through the first 5, we can see that those are the same questions that really come when somebody is curious about God and faith and as a new Christian.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just something for us to have sure in our minds, and then to be able to talk to our children appropriately by age about those same subjects.
That's correct.
Not to be afraid of them.
Yes.
Because we want to validate our children, we want to encourage them, and we want them to have understanding. Because even going to school, even if it's only an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, they're being influenced by their teachers. So if they have a good, solid foundation, even based on that age group, when the teacher is saying something in that classroom that doesn't line up with what they know from mom and dad, what they know from Sunday school, that they'll come with a question. They'll come home with a question, and that's what we want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I adopt the philosophy of I'm not going to necessarily shield my children from everything. I mean, age appropriate, of course, but I'm rather going to arm them.
Yes.
Because I think that's a better approach. You're not going to be around in every 24-hour aspect of your child's life, so you can't shield them forever. So you should be preemptive and be proactive in arming them with what they need to know about their faith. Again, age appropriate, and the most important part is when they ask that question, it probably means they're ready to get some sort of answer.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So let's carry on with the next session in the course, which is, why don't all my prayers come true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this might be a question of, I always bring it back to the deep philosophical thing, which is more of, God, are you there? If God is there, why don't I get my prayers answered? That adults ask the same thing, right?
Yes.
And children will ask the same thing. It can sound complicated, but the truth is, in fact, my child asked me this just a couple of days ago. Again, something related to, I prayed for it. Why can't I just pray for it and ask for, X, Y, Z? And I said, well, when you ask mom and dad for things, do we give you everything you want all the time? Again, if you bring it to the adult mind, we always will say this: God is not a genie, right? He's not somebody who you put in a coin or something, you pull the thing and whatever you want comes out. God is a personal being that has the most, the best thoughts of what they want for you. They want the best for you,
Yes.
just like us as parents want the best for our children. So in this one, you would be explaining to the child that the same way we as parents, when you ask for that toy in that store every time, do we just say yes all the time? And no. So, but does that mean we don't love you? No, it doesn't. It means that we want the best for you. And we know that sometimes certain things are not appropriate, or they're not the right time, or, we're ready to give it to you when it's the correct time. So in that same way, you can give the child the understanding that the reason why is because God knows the best, and sometimes certain things may not necessarily be the right time. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to do that more.
I think we all do, because we really feel sometimes like we really feel this is
Yeah.
the right thing.
Yeah. That trusting, eh?
Yeah.
That trusting in God and His timing.
Yeah.
And then the next session we don't have any photos or videos of Jesus. Yeah, that physical, especially when we have so many movies about Jesus. And you get that picture in your mind, eh? Of that movie you saw or that television show, that person who played Jesus. Like, you have that visually in your mind. But for a child, how come, you can't look at a picture of Jesus?
Yeah. And this one actually came directly from the mouth of one of my children.
Yeah.
So this was very pertinent. The answer to that is that we don't have photos of a lot of things that we trust and believe in. And it connects to my own journey. At one point in my life, even though, I grew up with my mom taking me to church, it was a long time before I realized, sometimes to my own shame, that there's actually a historical Jesus with you could say good enough evidence that those are historical Jesus. I didn't think about that. I was an adult. I had gone to Sunday school. My mom had taken me all this time, and somehow I just thought, oh, it's because I guess it's in the Bible. No, there's historical evidence of a historical Jesus. And it's possible to do that without photos, because there are many things we think of in history that they don't have photos, and they're actual proper, methodologies that academics use to determine that. It's not just that Jesus, whoever, historical figures. So really the answer is that, of course, when I was talking to my child about it, at the time there was no such thing as cameras or photos, but there are many other ways we believe that certain things exist. So
And that some people need that. They need to study. I'm thinking of that book, A Case for Christ, where somebody's trying to prove.
Strobel, I think.
Yeah, Lee Strobel. Somebody's trying to prove that Jesus never existed, only to find there's proof that he did exist.
Yeah, the journalistic
And,
approach,
And you're talking to the child. If you need that, when you're older, you can study and go back and look at the proof of it.
Yeah.
But, I don't need that, because Jesus has opened my eyes from his word. But, there are people that need that. They need to go back and study, and they want to see the proof.
Yeah.
But, Jesus can, open your eyes to him without you having to go through 2 years of study to find the examples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next one is, I need to be good to get into heaven. I'm a bad person. I was bad today. Does Jesus no longer love me? Does that mean I won't go to heaven? Like, I can see that,
Yeah.
that line.
Another complicated one, because
Yeah.
it's an undercover faith versus works question, right? And, as many Christians know, that can get contentious, because there are parts of the Bible that say, faith only, and then other words to say, what is my faith without my works? And so I believe it's been abused many times, where, in Christian history, just you need to do the work, but at the same time, you kind of do need to do the work, right? But at the same time, you don't need to do the work to get
Yeah,
to
but
heaven. So
if you have the faith, that's what comes from your faith, the works.
exactly, and
Yeah,
that's the answer.
yeah,
But how do you bring that? How do you break this down for a
for a
child?
child. Yeah,
I would say it to summarize what that course would be saying. One of the examples would be you have Jesus Christ as sort of like your coach, meaning that you feel you can't get to the end of a race, right? Think of it as you're in a race and everyone is running in the race and you can't get there. Getting there first is not the point. The point is to get there, and then Jesus Christ comes along, and then he's there, and he kind of holds you, and then he says, "Come on, as long as you hold on to me, we'll get there. Whether you got there first or last does not matter. But can you hold on to me? You get there. If you let go of me, you'll fall on the floor, and you can't move anymore to get to the
so
end."
I'm just trying to connect it. The work being just the holding on to Jesus.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
So
Not thinking of it, the do, that
So
I got to do this or that, but hold on to him.
right. So it's a combination, meaning when he says, "Trust me, hold on to me," that is the faith, trust. If you let go, it means you don't trust him anymore. You're going to try to do it on your own, but your legs give out and you're stuck.
Right.
And then you hold on to him. And then as you hold on to him, you trust him, he's helping you move along. That moving along is the works.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because as you move along, he makes sure that you get there.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you finish the course off with lead by example, and of course, as parents, sometimes the children won't do what you just said, but they certainly do what they see us do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that part. The lead by example. What other ways do you guys get into that lead by example?
Yeah, one of the parts is discussed in that particular session is got to do with routine. At least once a day, have some sort of routine, whether it's a devotion time or prayer time, and just make it just a routine. So, if it is that it's just once a day, so you and your kids have a prayer time, because those are the times too that would allow them to start have you ask those questions, right? Because you may discuss, Christian matters or biblical matters. But the other part too is in that session is to say, with everything that has been discussed in this session, all the questions you answer, none of it matters if you're not a good example. Meaning, if you are not someone who is, you speak about certain people a certain way and your kids are observing it.
Yeah, yeah.
You treat people a certain way and your kids observe it. You treat each other in the family a certain way and your kids observe it. You may have given them all the right answers, everything in this course, but it's completely useless because of the way you would behave as a
Yeah,
parent.
yeah,
And then another thing mentioned is that even asking for forgiveness is something the child can observe. When you feel you've done something wrong, you ask for forgiveness. The child sees that and says, "Oh, mommy and daddy are asking God for forgiveness, so I know I can ask God for forgiveness." And they also are people who make mistakes because we're all human. We make mistakes. But if there's one thing I would leave with anyone who takes the course is that the last session is probably the most important of all, because you can be the best speaker, being on a podium and saying all the amazing things and teaching people everything. But if your home is not an example to your children, all that knowledge is
yeah,
for naught.
yeah, yeah. How many times have we heard somebody say that about who's walked away from faith, that they might have grown up as a pastor's child, but even their dad, the pastor, didn't act like that at home the way he did in church.
And it's a hypocrisy
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. So,
It's a very it's very dangerous, and I would petition parents to really be that. If there's one thing you learn from this course, it should be that.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is
Yeah,
not as
and a
important.
complaint that non-Christians have about Christianity, that it's fake, and people don't act the way they say in the Bible. They don't act that way,
Yeah.
in real life. So yeah, we have to walk the walk
Yeah.
in our home, and hopefully we take it outside of the church and outside of our homes, into our workplaces and everywhere we go.
One thing I'd like to add too is that one thing I've noticed when I listen to or read people's conversion stories, one of the most powerful impacts is not that they now know how to maybe explain God or anything. You'd hear from their family members, and the reason why some of the family members would become Christians too is because they say, because I saw his change. The person who used to be an alcoholic and used to do these things or
Yeah.
beat people or
Yeah.
whatever completely changed, and they just can't explain
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
that
That can only be
that is
God.
it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Even an unbeliever
Yeah.
can acknowledge that has to be God. Like, how can that person be a new person?
Yeah. And all
Because
the
we're new in
apologetics,
Christ.
all the apologetics in the world
Yeah.
cannot hold a candle to that example.
And what is the other closing to the course? What do you guys else do you end with, the example and anything else?
You mean for that specific session, or
Or yeah, for the course overall.
it ends with that one, the leading by example, basically giving sort of like each session has an action plan, but that one is the most important, meaning that it's almost like a trick. That I went through all of this with you, and now I'm saying all of that doesn't matter. Just love your
If
kids.
you're not walking the walk,
Yeah, love
Yeah.
your kids and be an example in how you speak to others, not just your kids, and how you treat others. So and then I think that will be a summary of it. Yeah.
Okay. And I know that you haven't actually published this yet. I'm hoping that you're going to publish this, maybe even put it on Amazon or somewhere that other people may want to,
Oh boy, I never thought that far.
Yeah.
I don't know. One thing I'll say is that, as I mentioned with when I was talking about this before we started the course with the director of Kingdom Kids, I said I want this to be a living document, because I have no credentials. I'm a engineer by trade.
Other
I'm a-
people have
and
written course material that aren't,
yeah,
theologians,
yeah. So I mean,
and you can always update it in 3 years or
Yeah.
5 years. Just a thought.
yeah. I mean, let's put it this way:
Just a
if that's what God has intended, we'll see, and it happens. Because, as I said, even this course was not part of my plans, so it just
Okay.
happened, and
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Well, I know, in just looking at apologetics for children, that there are resources online, so you can go to your bookstore, of course, on Amazon, because there are apologetics packages for parents and children. So I would encourage people to take a look at them, and and like I said, in a small group, couple, 2 or 3 couples, to sit down and go through the material and prepare yourself, because we're nurturing our children and we're trying to grow them in the faith, and you want them to be able to defend. And as they get a little older, then when they get into high school, and again, those teachers, the things that are being, taught to them and told to them, that they can discern, this is not the word of God that I grew up with. This is not what I'm reading in the Bible. But we're starting it when they're 5, 8, 11. This is just the beginning. We've been blessed with these children, and now we have to nurture them.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I thank you, Alex,
Thank
for
you.
being with us today, and I hope that that we continue to be ready to educate our children about the faith and to respond to their questions. Thank you for joining us for this episode of This Is Better, and we'll see you next week.